Hey there, YouTube. I've been looking at a couple Gravekeeper deck profiles recently, and I am severely disappointed in how they are built and the explanations behind how they are built. Um, I do believe Gravekeepers this format are going to be spectacular if people would give them a chance. They hurt a lot of different decks. They hurt Boojins, they hurt Infinities, and they hurt Dragon Plants, just to name a few decks. And Dragon Plants won the last YCS, so we might want to be paying attention to Necker Valley, which shuts down that deck completely. Um, yeah, I feel like it's misrepresented right now, and that's keeping people from playing it. So here's my take on it. Some stuff in here is personal tech choice. Like I run some questionable stuff that some people might not be into. Um, but I think the general skeleton and the general ideology behind a lot of the cards that I'm running should be um, pretty standard, actually. So without further ado, here's my take on it. Triple Spy. There's literally no reason not to run 3. This is your engine. So if you can resolve it and make plays off of it with Descendant and Recruiter, you're pretty golden. Recruiter, you run 3. There's literally no reason not to run 3 because he searches himself more often than he searches anything else. It's with Descendant, it's a constant stream of destruction. Speaking of Descendant, I run 3. You want as much consistency with this deck as possible, especially given that it's a little bit slower than a lot of other decks right now. So if it can't have speed, it should have consistency. It's definitely not that sacky of a deck, so given that, you should want to be playing the grind game. And if you want to play the grind game, you want to be consistent. So that's like the standard core right there. Oh yeah, 3 Commandant. You don't run any less than 3. Like I said, Necker Valley is pivotal this format, and especially for this deck, where Necker Valley is your bread and butter. So you want to draw into it as much as possible. So you run 3. Assailant. Assailant should only be run at 1. I used to not run this last format just because E-Dragons were so popular and Prophecies are so popular, and it didn't hit as much stuff. But right now, there's so many different decks in the format, like people will be running Sams, they'll be running anti-meta, they'll be running just different things that this card can get over. And it's a utility card that I was happy to add back in here. You don't run more than 1 because it doesn't further the engine at all. Malefic Stardust Dragon is at 1 here. It defends Necker Valley and it beats over stuff. It's a free 2500 beater that defends your field spell. I mean, come on, there's no reason not to run that. In the same vein of beating down your opponent, Malefic Cyber End Dragon gives what Stardust can't in form of ridiculous amount of attack power. This can be a really amazing finisher. It can clear the path for your other plays. It can bait out bottomlesses and torrentials and mirror forces and all that good stuff. It's just a really good card. MST stops it, but you need to learn how to play around that. And if you can do that, then it'll put in a lot of work for you. On to spells, 3 Necker Valley is standard. Like I said, there's no reason not to run less. In fact, if you are, you shouldn't be playing this deck. Triple Duality. Triple Duality is perfect for this deck since, like I said, you want to be playing the grind game. It only really interferes with Spy, but if you think about it, you shouldn't be. You should be smart about when you set your Spy. So you should Duality first, then set Spy. Obviously, but this gets your plays off. This gets you options to your hand, and it's an amazing card to have at 3 here. All right, here's where things get a little bit preferency. 3 MST. 3 MST is for the amount of back row this format. No one's fearing heavy right now. No one. And they're going to be setting their entire hands because of this. Because you want your plays to go off, you want your spies to go off, you want your descendant plays to go off, you don't want to be bottomless or torrential or whatever. Triple MST is great because it clears the way for your combos. And if you can combo off with Gravekeepers like with Spy and Recruiter and Descendant, then you can get your grind game going and you can start slowly wearing down their resources. So this is the catalyst that lets you do that. Also stops Tinky, which is this deck's weakness, or Fire Fist. Double Stelly, you don't run any less, you don't run any more. 2 is the perfect number. Recycle your Spy, recycle your Commandant, recycle your Recruiters, recycle your Descendants, recycle Assailant. There's literally no reason not to run this card, and if you do run it, you want it at like the right amount. 3 is too many, 1 is way too less. Preference, 1 Royal Tribute. This card is still a win condition. If you open this in Necro Valley, you almost always want to do it. It's going to piss a lot of people off. It combos with Compulse a little. You can take it out, you can put in something else, but I like this card. 1 Dark Hole. There's no reason not to run Dark Hole. Book of Moon. With the lack of back row, this is a good answer to certain things that will be going on in your opponent's field during their turn. Also, it lets you reuse Spy, which is fantastic. I was really happy to add this back in. Preference, 1 Lance. This lets your little guys get over bigger stuff. It also defends your Descendant when it comes out from Bottomless. It'll defend your Stardust. It'll defend your Cyber End. It's just a good card. I tech it. It's a good card. Like I said, a lot of that is preference. You'll notice I'm not running Allure of Darkness or Wonder Wand. Wonder Wand is an equipped spell, and equipped spells are not reliable. It combos well with Recruiter. It's a +1, but it's just not worth it to me. Allure of Darkness is not worth it either. It can get rid of dead Malefics, but in the end, you really don't want to be banishing your Malefics because they're so fantastic. Also, you don't really want to be banishing much of anything in this deck, to be completely honest. Moving into traps, we have Double D Prison. No reason not to run the 2 that you're allowed. Double Fiendish. This is fine. It's preference, but I mean, the trap lineup can be altered no matter however you want, but you should definitely be running Fiendish. The 1 Torrential you're allowed. Run Warning. Come on, run Warning. It's probably one of the best traps right now, if not the best trap. Mirror Force is at 1 in here. You could argue for 2 by replacing some other traps that I'm running. I personally run 1. I might bump it to 2 eventually, but this is preference. The 1 Bottomless you're allowed. The 1 Compulse you're allowed. Compulse is fantastic, as always. Get rid of Xyz, get rid of Drago Sack. It's an out to a lot of stuff. Flip Spy, they veil your Spy. Compulse your Spy, they cry. And the last trap is Rite of Spirit. This is the most preference-y card in this entire deck, but it's also one of the best. It's almost always put in work. It combos with literally every Gravekeeper really well. So let's say you have a Descendant out, but you already used your summon for the turn to get him out. Rite of Spirit gets out Recruiter, start popping stuff, get your engine going. Descendants out there alone, you need an XYZ partner. Rite of Spirit gets that out, you can exceed. Your opponent's attacking, Rite of Spirit, get out Spy out with 2500 defense if Necro Valley's out. And that's a solid wall. Opponent's attacking, you need Necro Valley, special Recruiter, they don't want to attack it. Next turn, summon Descendant. It's a great card. People overlook it a lot, but there's literally a lot of uses for it, especially since MST is probably going to see popularity. You can chain this to MST and special something. Yeah, that basically covers it. There are a lot of different options for this deck. Like, you could run Dark Bribe instead of Rite of Spirit. You could run Wonder Wand instead of something like Lance or Royal Tribute. But in general, this is the build you kind of want to be running. Malefics are a lot better than other cards that people run in here. All the Gravekeepers should be maxed out except for Assailant, because you want as much consistency as possible. Another trap with this deck is people try to get too cute with the techs. And if you can defend your cuteness, then go ahead. Like, I can defend Rite of Spirit because it's almost always been fantastic. Lance has already proven itself to be an amazing card. Book of Moon is fantastic. Like, if it works for you, then it's fine. But cards certain cards should not be run in here. There's no reason to run 2 assailants, so there's no reason not to run warning. It's just there are certain choices in here that you have to be running, and some people aren't doing it. Alright, so that's it. So thank you for watching.